What's good, my YouTube friends and family? Welcome back, and today we are here with another toy unboxing video. Now, the toy that I had purchased is inside this ginormous golden egg. Now, I had ordered this toy off of eBay about a week and a half ago, and it said that it was supposed to be here in between March 26th or on March 31st, and it never arrived on those days. And it said that the new expecting date was supposed to be yesterday, April 2nd, but it got delayed one more time, and it finally arrived today on Thursday, April 3rd. But without further ado, let's go ahead and crack this bad boy open in 3, 2, 1. Woo! Talk about cracking eggs, huh? But anyway, with that being said, let's remove these two egg pieces and we will reveal our secret toy in 3, 2, and 1. Yup, we have another How to Train Your Dragon toy. That's right, we are here to look at DreamWorks' How to Train Your Dragon 2 Eret vs. Snotlout Viking Warrior 2-pack figure. And this is how the toy would appear on store shelves back in 2014 during the premiere of How to Train Your Dragon 2. Now, this is a figure that I had never gotten during that specific time because at the time, I always got the Hiccup versus Drago set that came with Hiccup and Drago. Now, I also know that they came out with a set like this, but with Astrid and a black suit Hiccup, which is pretty cool, but I feel like what Spin Master could have done was instead of putting Hiccup in that set with Astrid, I felt like they should have put Astrid and Hiccup's mom, Volka, where it had Astrid and her battle axe and Volka and her staff that she uses to control the dragons. But anyway, besides all that, we are here to check out Snotlout versus Eret. Now, let's take a closer look at these figures. I honestly cannot believe I was able to find this figure on eBay for such a good price. This cost me like around maybe $23. And I have no idea what the prices were for these toys back in 2012. I cannot talk. Damn it, what is wrong with my lips? I had no idea what the price for these figures were back in 2014. There we go, I finally said it. But if I had to take a guess, I would say that this and maybe some of the other dragons that came out would have to have been around maybe $15 or $16. But anyway, on the back of the box, you can see we have a nice image of Hiccup and Toothless flying around in the background. Vikings ride all power dragons, and here we have some of the power dragons available. And I actually have a few of these figures on me. Like, I have this Stormfly, I have this Toothless, I have this Cloud Jumper, but in a different color scheme. And I also have this, I have a Hook Fang that's similar to this, but it has the yellow racing stripes. I also have this Meat Lug. I do not have this Skull Crusher, this Barf and Belch, and I do not have this Racing Stripes Barrel Roll Toothless. I have the original Barrel Roll Toothless from Defenders of Berk, but not this one. But anyway, with that being said, let's go ahead and get these guys outside of their package. So let's get it started. And finally, outside of the package, we have Snotlout and Eret. Now, let's go ahead and look at Eret first, since he's the only other figure that I do not have in my How to Train Your Dragon figurine set. So, Snotlout, we will check you out later. Pause. But for right now, let's check out the details on Eret. Now, Eret comes with his little sword that he has in the second film. He usually has two swords, but I guess they didn't include one of the swords. Well, I cannot talk. I'm guessing they didn't include the other sword, so I guess they only decided to give Eret one sword. And this is the sheath that you put his sword inside of. And I honestly thought that this was just one singular piece. Like, I did not know that you could actually put the sword inside of it. Now, that's actually a pretty cool attention to detail. But let's look at Eret himself. Now, the face sculpting is actually pretty darn good. They got his man bun and everything. the stripes on his chin. They really captured the details on Eret. But let's look at the articulation. He has a rotating head. He can move his shoulders. It's a little bit difficult to get them to move even more higher with his vest in the way. He can move the other one. And no rotating hip. His knees move, so that way he could be able to ride the dragons. They also twist and turn like that. And the high legs, well, I guess you would say the hips or something, move up like that, so that way you could be able to actually get him to stand on top of the dragons. So these figures aren't that much, but they are once you start being able to play with them with your dragons. But anyway, get Eret out of here and let's check out Snotlout. Now, this is my first ever Snotlout figure from the second How to Train Your Dragon film toy line. Now, I have a few Snotlout figures, but we will check those out in a minute. But let's check out the weapon he has. So he has this like little mallet that, or hammer, Thor's knockoff hammer that he has in the movie. But let's set that off to the side. Let's check out Snotlout. Now, yeah, this is actually a pretty cool Snotlout figure. I like the way how they captured all the details on him, especially from the movie. So the arms move a little bit, but with this black coat vest in the way, it's kind of hard to move them up high. You can only move them slightly like that a little bit. And the head moves a little bit, but with all that hair, it's kind of hard to move it at a full 360 angle. His hips go back. Oh, there it goes. It was just stuck a little bit from being in the package for so long. Yep, like so. And the other one moves like that as well, so he could ride the dragon. And speaking of riding the dragon, all the figures from the second film toy line all have these little slots on their right leg. Eret has the same one as well, because those slots are actually for being able to get them to sit on top of the dragons, but we will look at that in a few minutes. As for a quick scale comparison to the 2014 Snotlout, here he is next to the 2010 Snotlout that was released all the way back in 2010, and man, they made these figures a lot more shorter than they make these things a lot more shorter than I expected. Like, look how small he is compared to the 3-inch figure. Nah, hold on. Now I gotta get the ruler out. You know what? Screw it. Let me just get the ruler out. So, like I said, with these figures, they're about 3.5 inches, but I have never really measured the 2010 figures, so they're literally 2.5 inches. Like, I never really paid attention to how short these guys are. You know what? Let's check out Eret's height real quick. Eret is measuring in about 3.5 inches, so he's a little bit more taller than Snotlout. And another quick scale comparison to the 2019 Snotlout from How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World that came in a 2-set pack with Snotlout and Hook Fang. And I honestly like this version of Snotlout better because you can actually see his face, and you could barely see Snotlout's face right there. Look, you could rarely see his eyes, and these helmets do not come off whatsoever. Like, I cannot really find the right words, but like, you know what? Hold on, I think I got an idea. So maybe this will help me get my words out. Let's do another quick scale comparison to the 2014 Hiccup figure that I had also purchased on eBay. Now, I actually like this Hiccup because with this Hiccup, he has a removable helmet. See, that's what I was talking about with the other Snotlout figure from earlier, because I don't really like how they just made the helmets stuck onto the figures and not like how they did it with Hiccup. I think the way how they did the 2014 figures, they handled these figures a lot better, in my opinion. I'll try to stand Hiccup up real quick. There we go. And let's get Eret back out here to compare him to Hiccup as well. Pretty nice line of 2014 figures. And as for getting Snotlout to ride on top of the dragons, let's go ahead and check that out. So here we have the Racing Stripes Hook Fang Power Dragon. And basically the action feature with this dragon is that you pull the tail back, and then these little parts of the wings are supposed to flap open. So let me try that for you one more time. Pull the tail back, and there we go. Now, on the saddle, there is a little slot right there that you can actually fit the little hole on the side, the Snotlout figure, so you can put him on top of the saddle. So let us see if we could be able to do that for you. So hold on, get the legs in the right position. You gotta really put him into the slot. Okay. I should have done this off camera, but a little too late now. So you can kind of see he gets in there. Pause. And there we pretty much go. He is on top of Hook Fang. Get his hammer. And he is now ready for battle. Although I don't really like the scaling. Like, I feel like Snotlout is a little bit too big to be riding on top of Hook Fang. Like, I feel like he'll be too heavy for Hook Fang's neck. Like, damn, poor Hook Fang. And here's another scale comparison with Snotlout and Hook Fang. Here he is right next to Hiccup and the Power Dragon Toothless that has the light up blue glowing effect on his back. But apparently mine doesn't have batteries in it, so I will one day have to get batteries. So that way I could be able to reenact the final battle scene from How to Train Your Dragon 2. And with Hiccup, his scaling is actually kind of a lot more better than Snotlout, because his scale is a little bit too off for Hook Fang's neck. I feel like they should have made Hook Fang a little bit more slightly bigger, so that way the scaling will be a little bit more better. And as for Eret being able to ride a dragon, I do not have the 2014 version of Skull Crusher, but I do have the Hidden World version of Skull Crusher that was released back in 2019 or 2020, because I actually purchased this thing off of eBay around 2020, and that also came with an Eret figure, but around that time I accidentally broke that Eret's leg, and I tried to super glue it back on, but it just didn't want to work. So now I'll have to get another How to Train Your Dragon Hidden World Eret figure. But with this one, it does not have a riding peg for Eret to be able to sit on, but let us see what we can work with. Alright, so he is sitting up there, but yeah, without that riding peg, he is a little bit loose up there on top of Skull Crusher's saddle. And like I said, with Snotlout, Eret is a little bit too big for Skull Crusher's size compared to how big he is in the movie. Like, I feel like they should have made these dragons a little bit more bigger, but I'm guessing they're trying to save on plastic for other figures. And here's another scale comparison with Snotlout on Hook Fang and Eret on Skull Crusher next to each other. Yeah, like I said a few minutes ago, I feel like the scaling between Eret and Snotlout is a little bit off compared to the dragons. Like, in the movies, the dragons are way more bigger than the humans, but like I said, they were probably trying to save up on plastic. And once again, with a scale comparison, again, here is the Power Dragon Toothless and Hiccup, and you could definitely see the difference between how they captured Hiccup and Toothless's scaling comparison, because Hiccup is not that big and he's not that small when he sits up on top of Toothless's saddle like that. I feel like they got Hiccup and Toothless's scaling a little bit more better than Eret's and Snotlout's. I wonder how Astrid would be able to fit on top of the Power Dragon Stormfly. And last scale comparison with all of these guys, here is the 2010 Hiccup and Toothless. Now, with this set back in 2010, these things did not have a riding peg on the saddles or riding slot. So if you had a figure that kind of had his legs open like this as if he was riding a dragon, you would kind of have to carefully sit him on top of a saddle, hoping that he won't fall off. And they kind of stick on, but not as grippily or as tight as the newer ones these days. But still works pretty good, in my opinion. Actually, I'm sorry, I take that back. Now, this is the last scale comparison. So here's the 2019 version of Astra and Stormfly, and Fish Legs and Meat Lug from How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World toy line. Now, with these figures, there also was no riding peg on the saddle or a little slot. So you kind of, with these, you kind of have to slide them onto their saddles. And yeah, you could definitely see, compared to these two, Astra and Stormfly look a lot better than Fish Legs and Meat Lug. I feel like with this one, they did not really properly design these two for riding interactions. Yeah, definitely feels like the scaling is way off with Fish Legs and Meat Lug. Hopefully the 2025 version of these toys will be a lot more better. Oops. So that is going to wrap up this video with Snotlout and Eret from How to Train Your Dragon 2. This set was bought on eBay for around $23 for a good sell. You could probably find one too, and hopefully I will be able to find a 2014 Astrid for a good price as well. And definitely expect more toy unboxing How to Train Your Dragon videos this summer with the 2025 How to Train Your Dragon remake toys line coming out literally next month. And I will definitely be picking up majority of those. And with that being said, if you guys like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and click your notification bell so you don't miss any new videos. And don't forget to follow me on my social media accounts. The links will be in the description down below, as well as the link to my second YouTube channel. Make sure you go and follow me there. And with that being said, if you guys watched this video from beginning to end, make sure you comment 5 fire emojis. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, peace out.